Hey everyone, Derek here with a quick news update to the analysis we posted this morning on Super Smash Bros. For the Switch. And in that analysis, we used two different examples from two different people on Twitter who try to get a better estimation of who the characters could be along with our own. Now we pulled from Von Rose and Nibroc.Rock. However, in the time since we've released that analysis, Nibroc.Rock has updated his to match more along the lines of Von Rose's. Now all the characters are basically the same here with the exception of Zelda, who's to the right of Samus. Now that was unknown on Von Rose's part, but Nibroc.Rock is still going along with it. Now here's the thing, while this does give us some more definition to each of these characters and a better idea of who they might be, I wouldn't necessarily put this as gospel as all the characters. For one thing, Nibroc.Rock is a 3D animator. He very easily could have manipulated this in several different ways, and you can kind of see it with Donkey Kong's hair, Mario's body, stuff like that. It's more of a rough representation, which is likely why some details are off. However, it does lead to a few more questions. For one, the Zelda model is especially weird. In this case, she's based off her Twilight Princess appearance, which is likely not going to be the case, and second of all, she's even taller than Samus. Heck, she towers over Link. And that has never been the case in the games, they've always roughly been the same height. Now there could be a perspective thing going on here, but this posits the idea that she's behind Kirby, and Kirby seems to be in front of Link, and Link is still in front of Mario. It's a very weird perspective thing, and still comes across as a little odd as they seem to be mostly side to side, so Link would have to be pretty far in the back in order for this size difference to make any sense. So I'm not actually convinced yet that this is Zelda. Otherwise though, this seems like a pretty good estimation of who all these characters are. It's just the fine details that are a little off. So again, we wanted to update this, provide you guys with an idea, compare back and forth as I'll do with the visuals as we go along with this, and just get a better sense of who we might see from Super Smash Bros. Again, we still stand by the idea that it's kind of an inkblot test. You'll see who you want to see, but these seem to be the most common visuals that people are coming across. Could be different, could be the same, we don't know yet, but what do you guys think of this new image that Nibroc.Rock created? Let us know in the comments, and of course be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Smash Bros., including our analysis of its reveal, and other things gaming as well. Until next time, bye!